Hey, good afternoon, everybody. John here at Havoc Maker Studio. Hoping you guys are having a great weekend. This is a Sunday edition, a special edition of the show. I usually don't do anything on a Sunday, but this weekend was the Ministravaganza from Atomic Mass Games, the redo of their Ministravaganza that got canceled early on last month due to a number of people in the office getting COVID. We already covered all that. So what I'm going to do today is kind of cover the last day, at least in regards to Marvel Crisis Protocol content. Probably tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll have compiled all the Star Wars stuff, and we'll do one big video for that. And later on this week, this coming week, we are going to be doing a Mythos RPG review of their Kickstarter. And I've got some more product information, so we're going to cover that. And Monster Hunter International skirmish game. Both those Kickstarters are live right now. I've got those videos somewhere down below in my library. You can jump on those videos, see what I talk about there, and then, of course, follow those links if you haven't already done that, and back those projects. I have yet to back either one of them. I'm waiting for payday, and then I'm going to back them. So, a lot of information dropped this last day, yesterday, for Marvel Crisis Protocol. And I'm going to try to get us a little caught up before we dive into all the new stuff. And there's a lot of new stuff that they dropped yesterday. So we already know about the Sentinel stuff coming, the Sentinel Raid CP51. Still don't know if that's the miniatures or is that a game night kit. It's been announced, but we have no idea its contents. We don't have a date of when it's going to be coming around. My guess is since it's CP51, then that probably means that it is an actual miniature kit. I don't know if it was CP51. Pretty sure it was. So, little update, as you guys are probably seeing on your screen, unless you're driving and listening in. We have one of their games that they ran yesterday, and it was Hydra versus Shield. And they used a number of terrain pieces, including the new Hydra Terrain and what some people are calling the Asgard Terrain. We're going to talk about both of them and before we jump ahead or continue on. So we do know that the Hydra Terrain is according to them and according to a number of other websites that's talked about it, unless we're all pulling from the same source, is that the Hydra Terrain kits are all going to come together. And well, actually not come together, but they're all going to be in 3 separate kits. So like the generator kit will be 2 separate generators in that kit. It's unclear if it's going to be 2 separate turrets in the Hydra turret kit, or if that's going to be 1 turret with 2 different weapon options. And then the Hydra tank is going to be in its own separate kit, which is also a ultimate encounter that we talked about. Still don't know all the details beyond that, but we know that that's coming. And that's all been kind of clarified. Now, the Asgard Terrain, people are buzzing about ever since we saw a little bit of a sneak peek of that a few months ago. And they have not confirmed that it is Asgard Terrain or that kit is someday, some way going to make it to our table. And people are like, well, look at the quality of it. That's obviously got to be that's they're obviously going to be doing it. Well, not necessarily, guys and gals. They do prototypes, whether they're using their own 3D printers, resin printers, or plastic printers, whatnot, or they've got another service that will do it. Because there's definitely a number of services out there that will make silicone molds of your 3D designs, and it's relatively inexpensive. Not something you want to put on production level, but you can still do that for personal use, right? So could very well be just basically a prototype terrain. And yes, it does look very, very gorgeous. I know a lot of people are buzzing about it and like, well, this is proof positive. Slow your roll, guys. Slow your roll. It is not proof positive because we have no idea if at the end of the day they're going to produce it. They don't even know 100% because they have to take a number of things into account. What's the cost of doing it? Packaging, which is usually the packaging is like one of the most expensive things. The shipping and all that, the normal logistic stuff. But how many terrain kits do they think that they'll sell? Because that's a lot of terrain to cram. If that all that terrain that is not the Hydra stuff, if all that is terrain designed for the Asgard kit, let's say that the rumor's true, that's a lot to cram into one kit. Okay. And how likely are they going to sell that? Because one of the great selling points of Marvel Crisis Protocol is the price point. And once you start getting to those bigger, heftier prices, it starts to be a big turnoff, a big no-no. We're seeing that with Games Workshop. Games Workshop is really taking the piss, as they like to say. I think that's the correct term. And then we also have to wonder how many people are actually buying these kits, because we love the kits. The kits are gorgeous, they're wonderful, they're beautiful, and we go crazy about it, like, oh, I'm going to buy that. But how many of us really do buy it? It's going to be less than the people that buy every single model kit, which that's less than everybody that just picks and chooses what they want. So that is something that they have to take into account. And if they're going to go through with it, I think we'll love it. I don't know how many people will buy it, but it's still wonderful looking terrain. I think you could use it for multiple game systems too. So we'll see. We'll see. The last little bit of information I want to update before we move on to all the new content is that the Logan versus Sabretooth Rival Panels kit, we don't know when that's going to come out. I have a feeling closer to third quarter, so October, November, December, probably about the same time that the new Red Skull and the Hydrotroopers will drop. It'll probably be all roughly the same time in the third quarter. My guess, it will be October, November. I don't see too many releases in December, but you never know because they've got some ground to make up for. At least in my opinion, they've got some ground to make up for delays during the pandemic and then afterwards. So we don't know when this stuff's going to drop. But in regards to the Logan versus Sabretooth, based on what they were talking about, is that they are doing entirely, they're not just reskins of the models, they are completely new character cards as well. And it's got some people upset that are just like, well, why are we just redoing models that already exist? And I get that. I do understand that. We would like to see newer models come out, but they did say that they were going to be redoing a lot of those old models. Why they went this route, I don't know, but there might be a little bit of clues in their discussion about it, is that they're going to be part of a new affiliation. My guess, the Weapon X affiliation, which makes sense. There's a number of Weapon X characters already in the game, and it opens the door for not only an entirely new, I'm going to say neutral faction, but another faction that they can pull in tons of new characters. I don't think officially, but Silver Samurai, loosely, of course, Lady Deathstrike, Maverick, and there's a host of other characters that can be part of that affiliation. Deadpool, obviously. And so there's some options there. That's probably what that's going to be. We know that this Logan is going to be Logan the Wolverine, and it's going to be Sabretooth Apex Predator. So they are going to be two separate character cards from their existing Sabretooth and Wolverine cards that are available right now. And of course, new awesome looking models. So that's good news all around. Though still, there's still people, I mean, even me, I'm a little disappointed they're reskinning new characters or old characters, but I get it. Totally understand, and I'm on board. So let's move on. Now that we got our breath. Okay. It's a lot, guys. But let's get into all the new stuff that drops. So we got the Hydrotroopers. This is the grunt base that's going to come with the new Red Skull. Let's just go ahead and top to bottom, left to right. 3 health, short range movement, size 2. Okay, the short range movement's a little weird, but okay. 1 physical defense and a 2 defense for energy and mystic. The energy and physical defenses, I think, need to be swapped, but that's my personal opinion, just based on the history and what their uniforms are. the Kevlar lining and stuff. It doesn't make sense for energy, but whatever. We'll go with that. Their main attack is a energy attack. It's Hydra energy weapons, range 4, which is very good, and 4 dice. I think that's kind of a standard with all the grunts. It's very low on the damage and 0 cost. Where they are going to shine is Hydra Assault. This is their 0 costing superpower, and it is an action. And after they make a move action, during its next attack action this turn, they can re-roll any number of its attack dice. Then afterwards, after the attack is resolved, you KO the characters. Okay, cool. That happens. So that's bad. That's generally bad, guys, that KOing. But the fact that they can go with 4 dice, and 4 dice is not a lot, but having the ability to reroll any number of those attack dice really does enhance the viability of these troopers. And I got to reread. I got to read again the Red Skull card. But if you've already got the Hydra Troopers out and you do the Hydra Assault, they go away. But I have to read the terms. Maybe you guys know. You can put it in the comments below that it's either at the beginning of the turn or at the end of the turn that Red Skull, that there's no Hydra Troopers available. The cut off 1 head superpower kicks in, I believe, and you place Hydra Troopers down. So that could be an interesting thing. You already got them out. They shoot their wad, they KO, and then they come back. Oh, goodness gracious. I am so sorry. They come back at the end of the phase. That's a possibility. But I'm not going to go look it up right now. Maybe I should have before. That's on me. Excuse the burp there. We have 2 innate abilities. Occupation Force. This character cannot pick up, hold, or interact with extract objective tokens. I think that's pretty much the standard for the grunts. And this character does not have to pay power to interact with secure objective tokens. Really cool. They're pretty versatile. And then the grunts for Red Skull, Master of Hydra. This character cannot be included in rosters and otherwise can only be put into play as a result of cut off 1 head superpower. All right. Right now, Hydra Troopers, not too bad. Not overwhelmingly great, but not too bad. I'm not disappointed. Now let's take a look at Arnhem Zola. So he's another staple for the goodness. Why can't I use my words? Another staple for Hydra. Usually hand in hand with the Red Skull, any iteration. So Arnhem Zola, he's got a physical 2-3 defense on energy and a 4 defense, which makes sense on Mystic. These actually make sense based on what we've seen with the characters in the comics and at least in the animated series. Not too much of the MCU version. I forget about the MCU version. It doesn't count. He's got 6 health at least. We don't know what about his injured side, but 6 health is still good. That's promising. That means he's probably going to have a 6 or maybe a 5 on the other side. He is a 3 threat, which is really good. If you guys think about this, there's a lot of low costing Hydra members that are 3s or less, or 3. I think there's all 3s. And that is really good. He is a size 3. He's a beefy boy, and he moves short range. All right, so let's get into his abilities. He's got prototype weapons, which is a physical attack. It is range 4, 4 dice, and 0 costing. Now, there's a lot of words here, so bear with me. Now, before you choose a target, you get to choose, before choosing a target, you choose what the attack type is, which makes this extremely versatile. You can go physical, energy, or mystic. Awesome, hands down, already an amazing attack power. After it's resolved, this is your builder, so you're going to get 1 power after you're done resolving the attack. And if you get a wild symbol, you get Hydra Ingenuity. After this attack is resolved, for each wild symbol in the attack roll, the defending character gains 1 of the following special conditions: bleed, shock, slow, or stun, when you think about it. So if you get 4 wild symbols, guys, or if you have something that boosts the number of dice, you're going to be inflicting multiple effects on one target. Pretty cool. I'm liking this. So his energy attack, his spender is actually a very inexpensive spender. It's called Focused ESP Box Blast. Wow. Um, that's a whopper of a name. So it is a range 3, 6 dice, 2 costing power. If it does damage, after you resolve the damage, you can advance the target character range S. So that's not too bad. Then you've got the slow special condition if you get the wild symbol. Always to be able to sit there and have multiple abilities that stack special conditions, always a blessing. His superpower is experimental enhancements. This is a 3-coster. And during the next attack made by this character this turn, you get to add 2 dice to the attack roll. After that is resolved, if the attack roll contained, and it looks like, and I could be wrong, but it looks like it contains any critical failures, this character suffers 1 damage. So that is bad, but you know what? I think it's worth it to get those 2 extra dice. I think it's worth it, especially when you have something like prototype weapon. I think that's actually not too bad. He has a reactive power called Hydra Engineering, which got an X cost. And while this character or another allied character within range 4 of this character is attacking or defending during your modified dice step phase of the attack, this character can spend up to 3 power to use it. And for each power spent, this character or the allied character may re-roll 1 of their attack or defense dice after it's resolved. If the allied roll contained 1 or more critical failures, the allied character gains the bleed special condition. So there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of risk involved with this character, but the boosts are not too bad. He's got the innate ability of scientific hubris. Whenever this character rolls dice, after the effect is resolved, it gains 1 power if it rolled at least 1 critical success. And then immunity to bleed and poison. Not too bad. I'm not sure where his place is. He's definitely a support character, but I don't know exactly. I feel like there might be better characters out there. I would even actually be a little nervous to include him, even though he is only a 3 threat. It's going to depend on who else is in the roster, which we're pretty sure it's going to be like Madam Hydra, Sin, and Crossbones at the very least. I would probably take one of them over Arnhem Zola as of right now, but we'll see what the future brings. It's going to take a little bit of time to analyze him next to the rest of the characters in the affiliation and look at the team tactic cards. Now, let's take a look at, before we look at any team tactic cards, actually, we're going to say the team tactic cards for another day because the picture quality is not great. But we will take a look at Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos. So this base consists of Gabriel Jones, Dum Dum Duncan, and of course Nick Fury Sr. They've got 3s across the board for their defenses, which is really good. A 5 physical health. Okay, that's a little alarming, but not too bad because they are normal Joes. And a 3 threat, which is good. And size 2, medium movement. And from what I understand, somebody had mentioned in one of the comments that they are going to be a Shield affiliated character. So, okay, cool. I was wondering where they were going to go, where we're going to see the invaders, where we're going to see something else, but they're going to go with Shield. I was hoping that we would see invaders at some point, but then I remembered that when we were looking at the contents of the boxes for Captain America and Original Human Torch, there was no affiliation card in there, so it makes sense. Though it would be interesting to see whenever Namor comes out at some point, if he does, which I think he will, especially after the Black Panther 2 movie drops. He'll come around probably next year, and maybe he'll have the Invaders tag, which will put Captain America, Original Human Torch, even Nick Fury and them in there. That would be really cool to see. All right, let's take a look at their abilities. So first up, we got 3 different attack 3 different attack powers. The first one, their builder, is prototype weapons, range 4, 5 dice, 0 cost. Already awesome. You get 1 power after you resolve everything. And cool, I haven't seen this power or this trigger yet, but if you get a wild symbol, you get Pursuit. Before damage is dealt, this character can advance towards the target range S. That's kind of a cool ability. I've not seen Pursuit yet. We've got grenades or something similar. We have energy attack called Grenades. It is a range 3. It is 4 dice, and it's going to cost 1 power. But after the attack is resolved, you're going to inflict Incinerate on the target. Cool. Incinerate has been just popping up everywhere. I would say these last, I don't know, dozen releases, it feels like, or maybe before then. Then we've got the last of his spenders. This is the Show's Over. It's a physical attack. Range 3, 6 dice. It's a 3-coster. Before choosing a target, you get to choose whether this is going to be a physical or an energy attack. Cool. I like that option to be able to go back and forth between the two. Gives you a little bit more versatility. And then if you get the wild symbol, you get Pour It On. After the attack is resolved, you can make a prototype weapon attack after that. That's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. Considering that you could potentially pull this off multiple times. You can go prototype weapons, build up your power, pop off the Show's Over, and then do prototype weapons again. Or maybe you've got enough power and you go Show's Over, prototype weapons, Show's Over a second time with another prototype weapon. It's a lot of dice that's in separate attacks, but the more times that you're forcing your opponent to defend themselves, the more times that they're probably going to fail. Does that make sense? So if it's like an old line with 40K, it's like, yeah, Terminators for the Space Marines were really tough, but you throw enough dice at them and eventually they're going to fail that 2-up save. And it makes sense for those of you who know the Warhammer 40,000 thing. So we've got a superpower called Sibling in Arms. Choose another allied character within range 2 of this character and place this character within range 1 of that chosen character, or place the chosen character within range 1 of this character. Really cool. I like that ability to kind of move around. You can only use this superpower once per turn. It's only a 2-inch, it says somebody within range 2, and then he places them within range 1. So there might be a little bit of wiggle room to get them a little bit further. I'll let you guys figure that one out. And then we have, it's a 2 power cost. That's very inexpensive for a potentially very big move. If I'm looking at this correctly, if you're 2 away and you want to get them on the other side, so you pull them 2 in, plus you got that large base that they're on, and then they put them 1 side or range 1 away from them, that's more than just a 2-inch move or range 2 move. That's a very big, that's almost a range 4 move right there. That's really, really good for 2 power. If I'm thinking about this correctly, I could be wrong. So let me recap here. So we've got Nick Fury right here. We've got a character range 2 away, and you're going to teleport, well, one of them, let's just say we're going to teleport this character on the other side of Nick Fury. So he's 2 away, and you place him within range 1 of this character. So you put him over here. That's 2, then that size of that base, which is a little bit more than a 1, and then another 1 away. That is huge. That's actually really good. I like this. This is a really good idea. It's not a huge range movement, but it's definitely a wonderful. Basically, it's a free move for that other character. That's potential. That's really good because especially when you are holding an objective and you need to be able to contest it, and you need more people there. All right, so we've got a reactive power. Sorry, I got a little excited about that as my brain digested that a second time. So we got a reactive power called Got Your Back. This is a 2 power cost, and when an allied character is dazed or KO'd by an enemy effect, after you resolve that effect, this character may use the superpower. They can make a prototype weapons attack against the enemy character that caused the effect. With a range 4, that is beautiful. And then if you get a wild symbol, you get to do Pursuit. Wow. right now, Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos are looking absolutely amazing. Then they have stealth, which means you have to be within range 3 of them to be able to target them with an attack. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos is going to be a choice selection and only a 3 threat. This is a very versatile, probably one of the best the characters that are coming out. I could see them popping up in a lot of teams just because of the cool versatility there. This is a very, very aggressive character that can do a lot of things, small things, but it's a lot of amazing small things. I see Nick Fury popping up in a lot of teams, competitively or casually. Now we're going to take a look at Nick Fury Jr. and see, look at those, all the team tactic cards that came with that. Look at the team tactic cards that come with Nick Fury and see where the awesome combos are going to come from, because between those 10 cards and those 3 cards that there's going to be some great combos. All right, that's it. We're going to cover team tactic cards for Hydra and Nick Fury Jr. or Nick Fury Sr. and Captain America and all them probably tomorrow or Tuesday. I need to get some better quality photos, but we're definitely going to cover them. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Am I right about Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos? Are they looking choice, especially over Arnhem Zola and forget about the Hydrotroopers. But I think these guys are top notch. Arnhem Zola is a bit of a risk factor. I think he is going to be one of those that it's like, you know what? He's just very risky, very risky. He's got some nice boosts, but it's a lot of risk for. It doesn't feel like major returns. You guys let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful weekend. I'll chat with you later. See ya.